air, stream live, and in podcast. Find out all the on-air and online platforms you can hear WTIM by going to TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into WTIM, your information station. It's time for the WTIM Morning Show. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. This segment of the WTIM Morning Show is sponsored by the Taylorville School District, where they promote student success because they're A+. Today's Good News segment features Charlie Dammerman. He's FFA advisor, he's a football coach, and wears many more hats over at Taylorville High School. Charlie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thanks so much for kicking off our Good News segment here on the WTIM Morning Show. I mentioned a couple of your titles there: FFA advisor, football coach. What else do you do at the high school?
Boy, it depends on the day, I guess. I think a lot of the different groups work together to get things done. Last night was a good example.
Yeah.
We partnered up with the student council and the FFA and did some shopping for some of the students in the high school in Springfield. Not recommended to go there at 5:00, before Christmas shopping with a group of high school kids, but we managed to get through and had a fantastic little dinner at Chick-fil-A. So
that is really awesome, and that's just one of the many things you guys get involved with outside of school hours there, because you spoke on the very successful FFA program. I'd like to just touch on that for a little bit while we have. I know they just came back from that big convention in Indianapolis. How'd they enjoy that?
Oh, the FFA convention was great. As always, we had a really good show in there. Some of the students, as far as Star Farmer, and then we had second in the nation in as far as an agri-science project with two young men. So, yeah, we always have a good show in there. Miss Schaefer, she seems like she always has a great way of finding kids, putting them in the right situation to be successful.
Sure.
So,
it looked like someone got recognized up on stage there. Maybe a graduate of Taylorville High School?
Yes, it was Lizzie Schaefer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd she win?
I think she got Star Farmer.
Okay, Star
yeah.
Farmer.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's an unbelievable.
There's so many titles, and I'm still learning.
Sure.
Every day's a learning
That
day.
is awesome. Absolutely. So you just mentioned one of the things you did out there in the community as we're moving towards the holiday season. I mean, Student Council, FFA, just two of the organizations out there. I know the high school as a whole does collections like that. Can you think of anything else off the top of your head that you guys are doing right now as we're getting near Christmas time?
Yeah, as far as that, we do a lot of things in the community. Fundraising is always an effort that we got going on out there. Speaking of FFA, jumping back into that wagon again, but students are once again going to Edinburgh, Scotland.
Cool.
So we're actually going to be cutting out ornaments. So one of our other fantastic advisors, Ms. Beckmeyer, is going to be putting pictures on Facebook here soon. But with the CNC machine we're blessed to have with in my class, we're able to do a lot of things for the community. But cutting out Christmas ornaments and that, we'll decorate them up so you can hang them on your favorite tree.
Very cool. Kind of brings us over to our next topic. Let's talk, resources at Taylorville High School, because ag mechanics teacher as well.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. I mean, CNC machine you mentioned right there. I can't think of many high schools that have a CNC machine, but speak to the resources that you're able to provide students and just give them a lot of avenues to pursue careers.
There's a lot of options as far as the trades go out there now. There's going to be a lot of avenues. I don't think these kids are going to be available to them that they understand. Just my way to kind of fill that void in the middle and kind of help them transition into that workforce. Sure. But we're blessed to have great support at the high school through our district and through our administration and things like that. If we need something, we ask, we fundraise, and we get it in there so the students can benefit.
Sure. I always find it funny because I'm the one that attends school board meetings and covers them for Taylorville Daily News. Overnight trip requests always make me laugh because like Edinburgh, Scotland would be something to request, and they're always going to grant these overnight trips, but it always goes into, we're going to fundraise this, whether it's FFA or Tommy TV, whatever the program is. It's always a funny thing to get into that. So that is awesome. Yeah, and we're talking resources at Taylorville High School, kind of switching over. You got hands and a lot over there at Taylorville High School with the athletics football team. How were athletics this year so far for high school?
Well, we made playoffs. We didn't get the final, result that we wanted. The players put in a lot of hard work. I'm really looking forward to next year. I think we'll hit the ground running. But the weight room, a lot of the students are already hitting it. We're seeing the benefit of it as a community and the students as well. Coach Mateer does a great job with the rest of the football staff, keeping the kids in there, keeping them motivated, and keeping some weight on the bars for them to get stronger and become healthier, better players on the field and on the court.
Sure. You've kind of mentioned some sort of maybe a slight culture change and how this kind of ebbs and flows throughout the years, and Taylorville moving in the right direction.
It is. And we were talking prior to us coming on the air, but I think the culture is really good at the school right now. It's fantastic. I think you're seeing a lot more attendance from the student body at games, and that's always a good sign of the culture at the school. I think athletics are doing well. It seems like every program we talk to that is active in the high school is just phenomenal, and you got a lot more participation from the student body.
Yeah, and of course, it makes you think of marching band and then choirs and then the jazz band that get out to these different events. How important is that to have involved in Friday Night Football?
Oh, it is. It's awesome to hear the band playing and everything. It just means that cog is doing a really good job, so we can all have a great experience for the fans to come out to the field.
Absolutely. And just more on Taylorville High School stuff as we're driving by. We're seeing all that construction. How does it look day to day inside of that building? Is the construction area, is it taken away from classrooms? Are we waiting on that next extension to be built there so we can get these students into just more areas of the building?
Yeah, I think once that gets going, it seems like when it gets colder, it seems like construction slows down a little bit. It's always a little bit more challenging, but a good thing as far as our end, ag mechanics things, Mr. Nichols and myself has been able to utilize kind of what's going on at the high school and kind of bring some of that into the classroom and talk about why are they doing this or why they're doing that as far as blueprint reading and stuff. And we're able to incorporate that in the classroom and make it a tangible experience that we can talk to the students about.
Absolutely. Charlie, before Taylorville High School, were you involved in any other schools?
Actually was coaching football prior to that. And then 2 years ago, Mr. Hutch called me, a couple other members of the community. Mrs. King was the other ag mechanics teacher, and she sought employment elsewhere. And I was talking to my wife, strangely enough, and I go, I just feel like I need a different career change. I was at Shields. I was a fishing manager for 12 years. And it's crazy, you talked the night before about, a life-changing decision, and then the next day it's just offered to you on a plate. Yeah. So I'm very blessed, to have an opportunity, and I got a really good purpose to carry me through my career.
Absolutely, a lot of things to look forward to, and just being involved with so many successful operations over there at the high school. You mentioned fishing just briefly, but that sparked it in my mind. The fishing team over at Taylorville High School, is this a new team? Is this a new organization with the high school?
Well, last year we got it off the ground. There's a lot of interest in the community. I just think that you needed the right person to kind of grab it. Mr. Nichols, Thomas Nichols, myself, co-manage it, if you will. And we had a sign up the other day, and we had really good turnout. Last year, we had to find and get all the boat captains kind of organized, because each boat that goes out has two fishermen or two anglers from the high school, and you have a community member that takes their own boat and donates their own time, and they just want to give these students a good experience.
That is awesome.
But however, I mean, as far as fishing goes, a lot of people may not think about it, but you have scholarships for academics, scholarships for football. Them same avenues are open in the fishing world as well. It's just exposing a different aspect of that to the student body that may never had that opportunity. Maybe that'll give them a little bit of a little bit of a boost.
A potential new banner to hang in gyms out there is the state fishing title. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, it'd be part of any banner that's up at the high school. And just be able to carry that tradition on. But it's nice to get out there. I fished a lot. I try to fish as much as I can. Used to do a little bit more on the tournament scene, but taking that knowledge and passing it on to the students. And a lot of them are really good fishermen. I teach a natural resources class at the high school, and half of it is fishing. We build a fishing rods in class, and right now we're currently doing the hunter safety course, but today we're talking about predator hunting and different calls. So, but jumping back to the fishing side of things, we build the fishing rod, but man, just how much active these kids are in the outdoors, as well as in the weight room and in the community. But they really like to fish. There's a lot of outdoorsmen, men and ladies in the classrooms. Just gotta pull them out and get conversation started, and they'll give you a lot of good fishing stories.
Well, where were these classes when I was in high school? That sounds like an
exactly. That's what I'm saying as well.
That is really, really awesome. Natural resources class. Was that already a class at Taylorville High School? Or is that something that they've kind of worked in as your expertise has been entered in?
Well, I mean, I came from the industry at Shields, and I was able to do a lot there, and I met a lot of people in the industry, in the fishing industry. I helped out with some rod development there as far as the bass line for our own branded rods. So I got to be exposed to a lot of neat things, and be able to take that experience and bring it back to the classroom is good. There are a lot of careers as far as natural resources, jumping back on that. You could be a game warden. You could you could be a sales rep for one of these big fishing companies. If you're willing to put in the work, a lot of these companies are willing to have you. For sure.
Yeah, the students and the athletes are in great hands over at Taylorville High School. Charlie Dammerman in studio right now. We got more to talk about. We'll talk about, possible career routes and just more for these students over at Taylorville High School. When we come back from this break, you're listening to the monthly Good News segment sponsored by the Taylorville School District, where they promote student success because they're A+ on our show right now. Charlie Dammerman, FFA advisor, football coach, and more over at Taylorville High School. You're listening to WTIM, your information station. We'll be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Christian County Economic Development Corporation is a not-for-profit organization whose mission is to promote the creation and retention of jobs and to increase the economic tax base through the development, establishment, and expansion of commerce and industry in the Christian County area. I'm Matt Hart, CCEDC's new Executive Director. I'm here to work with existing county employers as well as develop relationships towards creating new jobs in our county. Feel free to reach out to me, Matt Hart, by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Shop local first.
Think about what a huge impact local shopping has on our local economy when our money stays at home versus shopping via the internet or with the big box stores. Your dollars get turned over several times, benefiting our communities. The Miller Media Group and these local businesses encourage you to shop local first. Davis Family McDonald's, located in Taylorville, Pana, Shelbyville. I'm loving it. These local businesses and the Miller Media Group ask you to shop local first.
Shop local first. All across the area, shop here first.
There's an issue cutting through the bipartisan bickering in Congress. It's AM radio. The overwhelming majority of legislators, Democrats and Republicans, support a bill to keep AM radio in cars. But time is running out. Text AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now. AM radio is too important to let this moment pass us by.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names. Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
At People's Bank and Trust, they help their consumer and business customers spend their time living their life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, they put people first. Find out how they can help you by clicking their banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into WTIM, your information station. You're listening to the monthly Good News segment sponsored by Taylorville School District, where they promote student success because they're A+. We got Charlie Dammerman in studio with us right now, FFA advisor and football coach over at Taylorville High School. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. We talked about a lot in that first half, FFA, fishing team, all the successes and athletics over there at Taylorville High School. Let's just dive a little bit deeper into FFA. They're busy all year long. It is a yearly commitment there with FFA. Is that right?
It is. It is. We do get stipends. We do have a little bit different work, as far as what our needs are and stuff like that. So it is year round. We do a lot. We host the Section 16 fair at the county fair. And we do a lot with the county fair. We do a lot in the community as a whole. But right now we're trying to get record books going so the kids can attend contests. I know on Monday we have job interview. We have 4 students going to Sangamon Valley and competing for job interview. That's over the phone and this and that. And then the following Saturday, so it's 7 days a week for us right now till about March. And we have students going for agronomy and dairy at the University of Illinois. We have 5 and 5 going there, and that's for the state. So once they get past state, who knows from there? But the students have done a great job working through sections and then district and that. So just done a fantastic job.
So much responsibility and commitment, like we've been saying, whether it's FFA or the CEO group or Tommy TV, they're learning so many professional development skills here. You're talking about interviewing, even a phone interview, that's tough. Is that something you've been trying to implement more into these students' lives, is preparing them for the workforce?
Yeah, every little part of it. I think what each teacher does is kind of getting these kids ready for the workforce, whether it's communication, math skills, the basics every day. Just being able to have the intangible skill or the soft skills. Just having a communication or conversation with somebody. I know we live in a world just dominated by screens now, but being able to have that conversation with somebody face to face and have good eye contact when you're in a public speaking environment. We do that as a contest as well.
Wow.
It's just it's a good thing, and it's going to just get these kids off on the right foot.
Yeah, when these FFAers talk about public speaking, like it's one of their normal things, it's something they get over. It's, if you're not in FFA, maybe it's not something you've been exposed to as much. I find it to be just a huge benefit to these kids being involved in any number of these. So any upcoming events for FFA that we should be knowing about in the community?
We got the agronomy and stuff, as I mentioned. We do have public speaking coming up. I do know Mrs. Beckmeyer is going to she does a lot of the judging, livestock judging. They seem like they're always going somewhere and just dominating the show ring for sure with students, diagnosing the animals and being able to make reasons as to why they made those decisions on how they put them in their classes and stuff. And it's just, boy, if I wish I would have brought my calendar and we could have just went on for hours. But a lot goes on, but it's definitely rewarding and stuff for sure. Coming up, we do have ag mechanics. We do have fishing, obviously, but ag mechanics, Mr. Nichols, myself, after the break, there's 5 categories that we do, whether it's from surveying to welding, and we take a handful of students. We'll go over to Parkland Community College. Section 16 and 17 go together, and we basically take what we do in the classroom when we compete against other students in school.
Wow.
So but there are different challenges. One's ag power. We did really well with it last year. Welding does really well, and him and I kind of divide and conquer those tasks and get these kids ready for competition and for life, for that matter. So.
Gosh, and when I think ag mechanics, my brain doesn't immediately go to surveying and welding there. But do you see students that pick up these types of skills and kind of find a career out of it, maybe that they weren't thinking prior to taking ag mechanics?
Well, the students, if they're willing to meet you a little bit, I'd be honest with you, I think they learn a lot better than what I have today. I just think the information that they can process is better than what we did back in the 80s, perhaps,
Sure.
But fantastic. And a lot of that stuff spurs kind of from what we do in class. We were talking over the break about what we do in class. Right now we're working for Christmas, and AgMech 1, it's like an intro class. We're doing Christmas trees that the students get to take home.
Cool.
And then each class is going to do a full-size Christmas tree. Now, we go throughout the community and get pallets and things like that, and that's how we kind of get that, because pallets are everywhere. So that is definitely a resource we can utilize. And then Ag Mechanics 2 is a step further. Right now we are doing projects for the community for the lake department. Mr. Jeff Ortman reached out to me, and we're making barbecue grills out of truck rims. We're making picnic tables. We're utilizing the CNC machine we have, as I mentioned before. We did get a new welder, so students are really enjoying that. So we have a lot going on. My ultimate goal, I'm kind of a redneck guy, but next year I always try to be 5 steps ahead of where I actually need to be, but trying to get somebody to get us like a gravity wagon. I've seen enough deer hunting blinds, because we live in a community where it's a lot of people like to hunt and they like the motorsports. I'll lead into that last part here in a second, but building like a deer hunting wagon or something like that out of a ground. I just sit at home and watch videos, and I think of these ideas, and you got to make them come to fruition where they're tangible.
Yeah, you can implement them when you need. That is just so awesome. Gravity wagon. Never heard of a gravity wagon. What is that?
So, you don't see them a lot anymore unless you go, some different parts. But it's basically where they dump it into a cart.
Okay.
You can hook 2 up to it, and you can haul it to the elevator if you would, or you can do it there. It's just basically a wagon.
Amazing.
But you're going to turn it into a deer hunting camp or a cabin. So it's pretty neat. You build a cabin on top of a piece of metal.
Just so cool.
Pretty neat.
Just so cool. Describe the balance. So you're giving students a lot of options out there. They can do a trade, and then they don't have to take a 4-year route. Or absolutely, a 4-year route is recommended there to them. Talk to us about how those conversations go and how that can vary student to student.
You know what? I think it all stems from our grassroots classes, intro to ag and things like that. We're basically putting the foundation down for these students. After that, they take the information and the skills we give them, and they really run with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the students come, can we try this? Can we try that? Well, sure. Let me try to get the materials organized. But I think they're just as excited as I am. I just wish I had the energy level these young ones had, for sure. But amazing. This year, I've driven enough old tractors in my time too, working at a dairy, but we decided to tackle trying to do a derby car.
Okay.
And
Wow.
right now we have a 2001 Monte Carlo. Greg Matthews donated it to our class. We're kind of at a standstill, got to get some metal and run some battery cables and things like that. But we're learning how to build derby cars at school. And we're
So
going to
cool.
have help from a lot of people in the community on making sure we're doing it correctly. You know,
Yeah.
derby cars now are a lot smaller than what they was back when
Sure.
I was younger, for sure. And the rules, I'm sure, has changed. But they've really embraced that in the ag machinery class that I
Wow.
have. Plus, we're doing an M tractor that Trent Norris allowed us to work on. So.
Amazing. Just so many possibilities for these students to succeed over at Taylorville High School. Charlie, we are totally out of time. Any final words for our listeners out there?
No, just know that whatever's going on in the high school, I just given you guys a small little bit to chew on today. But a lot of the staff there, they really care. And be honest with you, they're putting in just as much effort as I am. It just may not be welding or whatnot, but they want to see the kids successful, and they want to make sure that they're productive members of society.
Absolutely. Charlie, thank you so much for taking the time and being in here with us today.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. You've been listening to this month's Good News segment sponsored by the Taylorville School District. We thank so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, in Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.